Well, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back to Neighborhood Nuggets. I am your host tonight, Sadie Blue. I am the community consultant for the Building Stronger Neighborhoods program. And tonight, I promise you, this one is just for you. Tonight, I'm super happy to have with me Dr. Antonia Richburg, who is the Vice President and Senior Program Officer for Cone Health Foundation. I think I got that right. I said a mouthful. But tonight, I'm super happy to have her with us as we discuss tonight mind, body, and soul, the total you. And we're going to have some fun on tonight. You know that I say in my segments, if we're not having fun, we're not doing this right. So tonight, we want to have some fun. Feel free to drop your questions in, your comments in as we move forward with this. Hopefully, this will be some good stuff that will help you as we move ahead in 2020. So tonight, Dr. Richburg, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, the first thing I want you to do is to tell us a little bit about you personally, and then what do you do at your job?
Well, as far as me personally, I'm married, have 3 children and 1 dog, and I graduated from UNC Greensboro and North Carolina A&T, so I'm a Spartan and an Aggie. So excited about both schools. And I have lived in this community for over 30 years and really care about the people that are here, and particularly those that are disenfranchised, those that that don't often have a voice at the table when decisions are made. And so I feel like I was born to be that voice, to try to advocate for those that don't have an opportunity to advocate for themselves. And I have committed my entire life to doing that and find that very gratifying, because I think that when we take the time to help other people, then that's a really good thing to do. And I find that to be, I guess, like I said, what I'm called to do, and I enjoy doing that, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Well, we're excited to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate the work that you do as we kind of sometimes are shoulder to shoulder in some things. It is so, I think I find it so rewarding to be able to help and assist others, not always a hand out, but a hand up. And someone has to be able sometimes even to be the voice. So again, I say thank you. Thank you for taking time tonight to be with us on a Tuesday night at 6:30 when it's supper time. So we won't be long. So tonight, as we talk about mind, body, and soul, I want us to start talking about mind. You know, as we think about COVID-19 and 2020, it has been so different. I hear all the time people say, I've never seen it like this, right? And that's kind of it across the board. I'm like, yeah, you ain't the only one that's never seen it like this. None of us have, as we deal with COVID-19, isolation, right? How we're having to quarantine, we're having to limit going out so much, limit being around family members that we're used to going to birthday parties and cookouts and missing Mother's Day with a big family gathering. I know for me, we didn't have a family reunion this year. And that's like when you go back and you get to see all your cousins and, you know, Grandma Nim and all that, as we say. And it feels like we're in a place really of isolation. And so one of the first things I wanted to talk about is our mind. Like during this time, what do we do to keep our minds healthy so we don't get into depression? We don't get into that stuck place and start to really feel sad, because as we travel in, as we get towards winter, we know that statistics show us that as the days get shorter and nights get longer, it is a time when people start to get into this place of depression, and especially around the holidays. And also, I want to talk about it because many people have lost loved ones. And I say that from a place of a tender place. Lots of people have lost loved ones. You know, we know that people will pass, but COVID-19 has taken a lot of family members, and people are still trying to cope, wrap their minds around it. And so I would like for you to talk to us a little bit what do we do to protect our minds and stay healthy?
Okay, absolutely. So first I'd like to say that, from a personal standpoint, COVID-19 has been very impactful, and not only in your life, but in my life as well. And when I think about um, the lost loved ones and friends, I lost a really good friend to COVID, and that was pretty traumatic. And so I had to take a moment and reflect and to think through, like, how do I stay focused? How do I keep this from, how do I prevent this from causing me to go into a state of depression? And, while we think about sometimes depression as being this really negative thing, mental illness, the reality of the matter is that sometimes we have temporary depression because of the loss of a loved one, or the severing of ties with friends, or the isolation, which we've been required to do so much of recently. And when you think about that, if you're married or you have children and you're asked to isolate, you still have people that are around. And so you still have people to talk to. But there's so many of us who, in our community, who don't have anyone at home. And so when they're asked to isolate or to social distance themselves, they can't be with their friends. They can't be with their friends that are not at their homes. They can't be with their colleagues at work because they're working from home. And then there's no one at home. And so at that point, you have to figure out, one, well, I'm not the only one in this situation. And how do I navigate around this so that I don't fall into that state of depression? And one of the first things to do is to find some things to do in your home that keep you from being focused on the fact that you're alone. And limit your screen time, because there's so much about COVID-19 on TV. Every channel you turn to, someone's talking about how many people died today, how many people tested positive today. And that can put you in a really bad place, mind-wise, right? And so let's limit that time, because you can't do anything about that. You know that you need to wear a mask. You know that you need to distance yourself from people. And you need to limit your activities in terms of going places where a lot of people are. So those things you already know. So you don't have to watch TV for that. So find other things, whether it's a nature, or like me, I have, in all honesty, and I'll just be transparent, over the last 6 months, I have watched more Family Feud than I've watched in my entire life. And I don't watch TV, but I was like, what kind of mindless task can I, participate in that will be fun for me? So Family Feud has been it. I've watched it at 6:30, 7:30. I now know that you can also watch it on YouTube. So I'm really excited about that. And that has kept me from focusing in on the negativity. But you have to find that thing that's for you. Like, what is it that you find joy in doing, whether that's crocheting or knitting, or I have also heard people talk about they've already finished their Christmas shopping, because instead of watching TV, they went online and they decided to go ahead and purchase their gifts. I bought a new Christmas tree, and I found so much joy in finding that tree, because it kept me from focusing on COVID, right? And so I've decided that in the next week or so, I'm going to put that tree up. And, I'm going to break all the rules, because this COVID-19 pandemic has occurred. And so there are no rules as far as I'm concerned. So let's just figure out what it is that we want to do. Let's focus on the next positive thing. Plan your Thanksgiving menu. But then the other thing is to find that quiet space, where you can unplug and you can reflect on the things that matter to you and spend that quality time with your family. That's one thing that I have enjoyed, particularly those first 4 months when my son was home from college and he couldn't go anywhere because everything was closed. So he was stuck with me. And we had the best time and found some really quality things to do, and just really bonded in a way that we had not before. Although we were very close, it was just a different time. And so I think you have to think through those things. And then I think the other thing that you can do is to say, hey, I'm important. How do I take care of me so that when this is all over with, that I have the capacity to help others, right? Help them through this process, or help them with the aftermath of this process. And so how do you find time for yourself, whether that's going to get a manicure, a pedicure, maybe you go get your hair done. If you're a man, maybe you go get a massage, because now they're open. You can get a massage, and whatever it is, whatever that it is that works for you, whether that's maybe going hiking. My husband and I sometimes go hiking, not like one of my colleagues who hikes a lot for days and days. I'm not able to do that, but for about 4 to 6 hours, I'm good for hiking. So that's another thing that you can do, or maybe you just go through a walk and strolling through the park. I took 3 days and went to the beach. No agenda, no plans, just wanted to be at the beach and with our dog. And he had never been to the beach, so that was exciting for him. At least we think it was exciting for him. And you just have to think through, like, how can I take care of me? What can I do? Because that person that you see in the mirror every day is really important. And you have to figure out, how do you recapture that? And how do you make sure that you maintain your sanity? And you maintain your sanity by saying, hey, I don't have to be everywhere. I don't have to say yes to every invitation that I receive. It's okay for me to say no. It's okay for me to pause and unplug. I was talking to some colleagues earlier before this call, and we talked about, like, it's so difficult. At least that's what we say. It's difficult now for us to cut off our cell phone, not answer emails. But, for those of us who are a little older, there was a time when you had a car phone at best, but not a cell phone. So it didn't leave the car. And there was a time when you could not connect to your email from home, and you still survived and work still got done. Well, we can go back to that. We don't have to answer emails that come in after 5 o'clock. It's after the workday. Let's cut our computers off, go home, and be very present with our families, and not worry about what's happening at the office. Because after all, what are you going to do about it after 5 o'clock? So just let it wait to the next day. It's not that important. You don't have to answer the phone. My husband's really good about, after 7 or 8 o'clock, just cutting the phone off so that he can just have that downtime. So those are some things that I do to just make sure that I can maintain my mental stability. And I think it works for everyone, but you have to really be intentional about it.
Well, I think you said some amazing things. I have many people know that I am in the high risk category. And when COVID first started, I am someone who likes to go every single day. Like, I'm on the move all the time. And I began to bring out my sewing machine. Like, I'm going to try to make a mask, right? And then I thought I was getting kind of good at it. And so for Mother's Day, I asked my kids for a new sewing machine, and they bought me a new sewing machine. And that just kind of drove me. And now I'm looking at, we're still dealing with COVID. So now I'm going to try to make Christmas fillers for my living room. And so you're right. You tend to rethink and refocus and enjoy the outdoors. That's what I've learned to do to help, just to stay healthy in my mind, enjoy the fresh air, whatever it takes. I want to shift a little bit now and talk about our bodies, because I know that during this time, sometimes I cook a lot, and some people know that from Facebook. Other times I eat junky, right? And you feel isolated, you're so in your home so much, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna cook. But after I cook for like 4 or 5 days, I'm like, it's over. The healthy eating is gone. I don't even want to exercise. I ain't thinking about outside. And we are getting ready to get in a place. It's getting ready to be colder, right? Christmas and Thanksgiving is coming. When I think of Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, or whatever those holidays, I think of, cookies, candies, cakes, pies. I'm ready. And no exercise. So I want you to share with us a little bit about what we can do to help our bodies during this time and be good to ourselves that way.
So it's been really interesting, because I've been hearing people talk about, during I've gained my COVID-15, like there was like the expectation that because we were in a pandemic that we would stay home and we would eat and gain a lot of weight. And that wasn't necessary, because we were at home, it really gave us an opportunity to cook healthy meals, because we're not in such a fast pace. We were not eating fast food because most of the places weren't even open. And so my husband and I embraced that moment and said, hey, the fast food places are not open. We can't get to our favorite cake place. Well, eventually we figured out that it was open, but initially we weren't able to get there. And so we started eating healthier, started going to the track and walking every morning with intentionality. You have to plan it, because if you don't plan it, it will not happen. And so I think that what we have to think about is like, hey, how can I be my best self? And if I'm going to be my best self, then I have to focus in on eating healthier. I have to focus in on making sure that I'm drinking enough water each day, that I am reducing, and I'm saying reducing because I don't want to be realistic. Let's reduce the amount of sugary drinks that we intake, because I know people love their soft drinks. And let's, and then think about like, what can I eliminate? I went through 3 weeks where I said, no pasta, no rice, no bread. And now that those 3 weeks are over, I'm like, do I really want to reintroduce the pasta, the rice, the bread? I mean, is that really what I want to do? Or can I live without it? Because it's now been 3 weeks. And so my husband said, well, you know, it takes 40 days to create a habit. So let's just see if we can go to 40 days. If we get to 40 days, then maybe we can eliminate. Well, I'm going to tell on him. He is already eating the rice, the pasta, but he loves Chinese food. And so of course, with the Chinese food comes rice. But I have not reintroduced those things. And I don't know that I will. I mean, maybe in moderation. And so that's what I'd like to admonish us to do as a community, is to think about how can we eat those things that are not so good for us in moderation. Not asking you to stop them, but for your own health, can we be more moderate in our eating of desserts? Can we, be moderate when we're eating pasta and rice and bread and drinking soft drinks and other sugary drinks that you might consume? I drink water 24/7, but I like water. So everybody doesn't like water. So I understand that.
Right.
But just to think about that, because that helps us a lot, because when we think about our bodies, we have to do that. So we have to exercise. We need to eat healthier. We need to drink more water. We need to limit our intake of those, really high in fat, high in sugar things, because they don't do anything good for us. They're really negative for us. And so I think if we do that, then we'll end up being a lot healthier. And what I tell people is that, I can enjoy, half the slice of cake. It's good. Like, it's great. Like, this is German chocolate cake is my favorite. So let me eat half of it, and it's good. And let my husband have the other half, because, he'll go run 10 miles and he'll be fine. I'm not running 10 miles. I'll walk 3, but I'm not running 10. So I can't have all the desserts that he can have. And so there are choices that we make. So we have to decide, what is it worth to us? If we're going to eat that unhealthy meal, are we willing to then exercise for an hour or at least 30 minutes, to compensate for that? And if we're not, then maybe it's just not worth it. But it's hard. And I acknowledge it's hard. It's hard for me. And I struggle with that, because I love to eat and I cook very well. And I like to eat the food that I cook. And so what I'm trying to do now is, in which we all can do, is, hey, can we get to the farmer's market and get fresh fruits and vegetables, because they're so much better for us? Can we shop in the perimeter of the grocery store? The aisles get you in trouble. Everything in the aisles, they just really get you in trouble. So shop around the perimeter. You get fresh fruits and vegetables. You can get your cheese. You can get those things that are much more healthier for you. And then do like I do, go on Pinterest and find healthy recipes. You like chili. Well, there's some healthier options for chili, and there are healthier options for almost everything that you eat. And for the last month or so, I've really focused in on drinking more than I've been eating. And so I've been doing, healthy shakes and only eating 1 meal a day, and doing replacement shakes for the other meals. And in all honesty, I was amazed that in 4 weeks of doing that, losing 15 pounds, and I have not missed the things that I eliminated, and I've not been hungry one day.
Wow. So
Something to think about.
I want to take this moment. Here's our pause moment, and we're going to do a giveaway. So there's a question as we talk about our bodies, right? And part of, know your body, right? Know your weaknesses. Know, as we talk about, I must say this before I ask the question. Dr. Richburg, you messed me up because I just went to Maxi B's today.
It's my favorite. It's very good. It's very good.
But the good thing is I haven't, my favorite is the old-fashioned chocolate, and got my godmama a piece to take to her tomorrow. But I wrapped them up and I haven't eaten my piece of cake yet. So maybe I need to eat only half the cake and give the other half away. I'm working on it. I haven't
or
had it.
Gift both pieces. You can gift both of those pieces.
Well, I got to work on it. It's a
I understand. I understand. That old-fashioned chocolate cake is really good. I understand.
Oh my gosh, it's my favorite. So tonight's question for those who are viewing us is, how many bones are in the human body? How many bones are in the human body? And the first one that gets it right, drop your answer into the comment section, and you will win a prize, a gift card. And Dr. Richburg is going to tell us where it's from, because one of the things we want to promote is healthy eating. And if you're like me, it's easy to go by McDonald's, Burger King somewhere and grab, and I'm not bashing those restaurants, but there are some healthier alternatives that we can do. And one of them is the shakes as a replacement meal. So tonight, Dr. Richburg has a gift to give away for whoever gets this right. Dr. Richburg, will you tell us what that is?
So it's a $20 gift card, and it's to Believe Nutrition, which is a new, I just drew a blank. It is a new healthy shake and energy tea bar in Greensboro. It's located at 4915 High Point Road. And basically, these are healthy shakes that have 24 nutrients and vitamins in them. And it's meant to be a meal replacement as far as the shake. And then the tea has B12 vitamins in it, which keeps you really energetic throughout the day. And that combination of the two, the shake and the tea, makes a meal. And I promise you, it will keep you full for 4 hours. You're very fulfilled. You're not desiring to have anything else to eat or drink. And the tea, while it tastes really sweet, has no sugar in it, not even artificial sweeteners, but it satisfies your desire for sugary stuff. And whenever I'm thinking about that German chocolate cake at Maxi B's, I opt to go there instead and get me a chocolate caramel cheesecake shake. And then I'm satisfied, and it's a healthy option for me, and I don't have to worry about the calories and all the bad things that are associated with eating the desserts. But so $20 gift card.
So thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
bringing that tonight.
Yes.
We do have a comment from Ms. Tracy Poole. She says, congratulations on those healthy decisions. You are glowing, Dr. Antonia M. Richburg.
So that she's very kind. Thank you very much.
Yes, and it looks like we have a winner, and our winner for tonight is Frida Harris. She guessed correctly 206 bones in the human body. Man, wow, what a wonderful gift. We will reach out to you after this segment and figure out how we're going to get that to you. I know we have 5 minutes left, and so I want to cover the last part as we talk about the soul, right? As we talk about the soul. I want to unpack soul just a little bit because I've been doing some research today trying to figure out how do we talk about and get people to understand what is your soul. And I'm gonna read my note because it gave me some clarity, and I hope this helps everybody else. Your soul is that part of you that we think about. That's the you, right? So if you think about, I want everybody, whether you're looking at this now or you look at this later on, to think about this question. Who are you without your titles and position? Without being a mom, a daddy, a sister, a brother, a vice president, a CEO, a cashier, a worker, any of that. Who are you? And that's the soul of you. That part of you, the being of you. I hope that makes sense. The center of who you are. Another way to look at it is the spiritual part of who you are, but not the religious part of who you are, because there is a difference. Now, when we talk about soul, and we have like 3 minutes left, man, I hate this. This time went by quick. And we talk about soul. One of the reasons why I wanted to visit the soul is to talk about just what you talked about, Dr. Richburg, unplugging, meditation, quiet time, right? Just to have that woosah moment, just to rest your mind and everything, and just be you in the moment, the real you, not the one that has to wear a hat of any kind, just the you. So just for a minute or two, I want us to talk about meditation. And I just want to start out to tell you, sometimes I have had to learn, especially during COVID, to meditate. And it's not this big ritual that I do. There's no TV on, my phone isn't ringing. Sometimes I just sit at my kitchen table and I just sit. I breathe in, I breathe out. I try to slow my mind down from thinking about everything. Is it hard? It absolutely is. But I take that moment to get in this place where then my heart rate begins to lower, because as you know, as we get all cranked up, oh my God, I got to do this, and our heart rate just starts pumping. I just take that woosah moment. And then other times I will put on music that has no words, just something that's gonna, as I call, mellow me out. Because although I haven't suffered a lot with anxiety, I didn't really know what anxiety attacks was until 2020. I didn't know. I had no clue really what they were until 2020 hit. And I had to learn how to cope with that and know who I am. Who am I? I am Sadie. I am the Sadie that really does love people. I love helping people. I'm the Sadie that loves to motivate you, whether I have a title or not. I love to smile. I love to giggle. That is who I am. That is the essence of my being, that loves happy and loves to make you happy. So that's me, right? So that is the soul of who I am. But will you talk for just a couple of minutes about what do we do with our soul? How do we protect our soul? Maybe meditation or whatever. I'm not sure what you do to protect that spiritual part of you, not the religious part, but just the spirit of actually who you are.
So, it's really interesting. I have an Apple phone. I'm an Apple Watch. And so on my watch, every now and then, it'll tell me to breathe. And, during COVID, I remember thinking about that. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to be told to breathe, right? I should want to do that. I should be focused on doing that. But sometimes we have to be reminded, if we're going to take care of our inner being, then we have to be reminded to just breathe. Don't do anything else. Just breathe. Close your eyes and take, 5 or 6 deep breaths. With nothing else on your mind. And sometimes that's difficult because, I remember I was like, people would say that and I said, oh, okay, so I can close my eyes so they'll leave me alone and then I can think about whatever I want to think about. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't help you, right? So how do you clear your mind? Just asking for to get you back and then to get to that point where you have that inner peace, like, how do I get to that point where I have the inner peace? Well, first of all, you got to have some quiet time. Maybe take 10 minutes out of your day and say, I'm not answering the phone. I'm not answering emails. I'm not responding. I'm either closing my door if I'm at the office and take a 10-minute break, or if I'm at home, I'm going to go somewhere in the house where I can take 10 minutes and just recapture myself, just to pause. Can I pause? Can I reflect? It's just really important for us to do. And so you figure out what it is that you do, but just take those 10 minutes
Well,
and
we have a
just
question.
focus. Yes, ma'am.
We have a question. The question comes from someone that says, how do you make sure that your job or your department is a safe space, right, for those working for you? And then do you practice some self-care tips at work? Good questions.
Very good question. So in order to provide that safe space for your staff and our team, then you have to let them know that it's okay for them to unplug and take that time. And then as far as self-care is concerned, at work there are things that you can do, not overcommitting yourself. Going into your supervisor and saying, hey, I've got these 5 things to do, but I really can only get 3 of them done and done really well without being overextended. Is there some flexibility with the deadline, or can I get some assistance with some of the work that has to be done here? Not that you don't want to get your work done, but sometimes you just overcommit, and we don't want to acknowledge that perhaps I can't do all of these things and still have my sanity, right? And so you have to figure out how to do that. But the first thing I think is just making sure that you as a supervisor or director, that you are making a safe space for your employees by letting them know that they have that opportunity to unplug, and that they also have you as someone that they can come and talk to if they're having an issue. And then maybe sometimes if the budget allows, you bring in someone to do chair massages, or maybe as a staff you all decide to take a walk around the parking lot for 15 minutes, or let's have the staff meeting on the bench in the back of the benches in the back of the building, or let's go to a coffee shop and have our team meeting today. Those are things that really help people to unwind and also feel appreciated.
Right. Man, I appreciate it. We are out of time. Oh my goodness, it is 7:03. Thank you all for those who have hung in here with us past our time. We're 3 minutes over. I hope that you have really enjoyed. I have. I want everybody who is on now to do me one favor. Take a really deep breath in. Let's just hold that, hold it, hold it, hold it, and just relax and let it out. Yeah, that's part of self-care. Just taking a moment to do that. I am Sadie Blue, the neighborhood consultant for Building Stronger Neighborhoods. We have had as our guest tonight, Dr. Antonia Richburg. I thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Richburg, and taking time out of your schedule. Listen, guys, until the next time, remember, self-care is important, mind, body, and soul. Have a fantastic night. We'll see you again real soon.